Have you ever filled out a government form while crying? Because that is basically what humanitarian parole applications feel like for a lot of families. Humanitarian parole is not a visa, it is more like an emergency knock on the door, asking the United States to let someone in temporarily for a really serious reason. Picture your aunt overseas who suddenly needs surgery and has nobody to care for her afterward. That kind of urgent, time-sensitive crisis is exactly the lane humanitarian parole lives in, not everyday family visits or vague worry. A lot of people think parole means the person gets a green card or permanent status, but nope, that is a myth as persistent as a raccoon in your trash can. Parole is temporary permission to enter, usually tied directly to the emergency that triggered it. You also need real proof, not just a heartfelt letter, though the letter matters too. Think medical records, death certificates, police reports, anything that shows immigration officials this is urgent and documented, not just stressful. Here is where the human behavior part gets interesting, because people often wait until the crisis peaks before applying. Lawyers will tell you that earlier filing, even messy and incomplete, usually beats a perfect application submitted too late. The form itself, Form I-131, asks you to explain who needs help, why now, and why no other visa option works. That last part trips people up, since officials want to see you actually considered normal visa paths first, and they would not work in time. Officer discretion plays a huge role here, almost like a judge weighing a really specific, narrow exception. That is why lawyers spend so much energy framing the story clearly, almost like directing a short film where every scene supports the same urgent point. Cost is part of the conversation too, since government filing fees plus legal help can add up to several $100s or more depending on complexity. People often assume help is free, but most immigration legal support operates more like specialized medical care, valuable and rarely cheap. Doubt shows up constantly in these cases because applicants worry that asking for help signals weakness or failure. In reality, asking early is closer to calling a mechanic at the first weird engine noise instead of waiting for smoke. Family relationships matter a lot in these petitions, especially showing emotional and logistical dependency, not just blood relation. A grandmother who needs daily insulin management hits very differently than a relative who is simply elderly and far away. Processing times vary wildly, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, which feels brutal when someone is actively suffering. This unpredictability is part of why preparation, organized documents, clear medical evidence, and legal guidance often shortens the emotional roller coaster, even if it does not speed up government clocks. There is also a common confusion between humanitarian parole and asylum, and no, they are not twins, barely even cousins. Asylum protects people fleeing persecution, while parole solves a specific emergency need to physically be present for care or crisis management. Community stories help too, since many families learn through immigrant support groups that detailed planning beats panic every single time. Think of it like packing a hurricane emergency kit before the storm, not during it. If your family is facing something like this, having a lawyer who understands medical urgency and government paperwork timing can be the difference between chaos and clarity. Want to learn more about how we help families navigate cases like this? Check out our links in the description.